Boise State's playing really, really good, well at home. 8-1, 7 in a row at home, undefeated in the Mountain West Conference play at home, and their numbers show it. Their offensive numbers are a lot better at home than they are on the road. So they got a couple big-time players. Jessup's a returning all-league guy, and he's a really long guy. He can shoot it, and score it in a lot of different ways. He can really, really shoot it. He's 6'7", 202 pounds. He's a good playmaker. He's got great feel for the game. Can really get going in a hurry. When he makes one bucket, 2 and 3 seem to be coming really, really quick. And then Derek Alston is a big-time playmaker for them. His game just keeps evolving. I know he's on a lot of NBA draft boards right now, and he's listed at 6'9", and he's playing a lot of the 3 right now. Plays the 3 of the 4, but he's a big-time playmaker for him. Was leading the Mountain West in scoring for a long, long time, and I don't know exactly where he is right now, but those 2 guys really get it going for them. And they just added an Oregon transfer, Abu Kebab, Kejab. There we go. Thank you. But he brings a different dimension to them without a question. They're a different team with him, and he's a tough guy that can really get it going. He can score in a lot of different ways. And so, like anything, when you have guys that are in and out of the lineup, you become a little bit of a different team. And so they are a different team, when he's in there. So they do a good job. They run a lot of different stuff on offense, so we got to really be on point that way. And then we just got to be in attack mode. We've had a bye week this week. I thought it's been good for us. I feel like we're moving a lot better, and we've had some very good practices this week, and I feel like we've gotten better. So it'll be a great road challenge, winning in the road in the Mountain West Conference, with the exception of the first day of league play has proven very, very difficult when you look at the scores and the games around the league. So we've got to have our minds right. I know it's a blowout for them, and we're expecting their best punch.
Can you... It was pointed out to me by Coach Ragland, you guys have played 19 games at the start of this week, and only Gonzaga had played 19 games in college basketball besides you. How much has that been a factor to what your team's been through, besides all this other stuff of having to play so many games, and then to now finally get a week off probably has to help with that?
Yeah, we really needed that, and I know that we had the Christmas break a few weeks ago, but we played a ton of games, and I've always been a firm believer in playing 31 games, a full complement, but obviously the Mountain West Conference moved up our season a week, and so, if that ever happens again, we need to strongly consider if that is the right move. But at the same time, it is what it is, and I think you got to throw yourself out there, and we always want to schedule the best that we can and put ourselves in a position that if we do well, that we can be an at-large team. And so some of it was not only just the games, that we've had a lot of travel, going to Jamaica and then going to California and then turn around going right back to California. So it all adds up after a while. And some years you pretty much go unscathed and you're relatively injury-free. And we had that a year ago, and this year's been different that way. So that's part of the deal, and you just got to negotiate it the best that you can.
How would you say your health is at this point?
This is probably the healthiest we've been all year, quite frankly. I think it really did help to get some time away, and I feel like we're moving better. Certainly, there's been some guys that have been hurt, a lot of the year that are just seem to be trending upward, and it was just good to, we had some time away, yet plenty of guys were in the gym on their own, and we have a lot of those kind of guys, which is good. But I think mentally and physically, it was a good time to have our break. And whether that'll translate into winning and losing, who knows? But all we can do is just be the best that we can be, and then whatever happens. Can
we talk about how Boise plays in like Alston and Dickinson and now this Kejab? You got a lot of guys who drive. Hobbs comes off the bench and does that. A lot of guys can go to the rim, and then they pass it back to a guy like Jessup who shoots the threes. Is that a different system or a tougher system than you've seen some teams play? Or
they put pressure on you for sure. They run a lot of ball screens. Coach Duryea is obviously a spent a lot of time at Utah State, 17 years, with 14 as an assistant, 3 as a head coach. And so some of our guys are familiar, even though they're running some of the same stuff that some of our returners have run before, and obviously some of it's different. So, but it's a lot of ball screen stuff. They put you in great position with their spacing. They're pretty relentless, to the basket that way. And then, of course, you got a guy like Jessup who you feel like is going to make almost every shot. So they do put a lot of pressure on you, and they run a lot of different things. So you don't always know what they're going to run, with the exception of some of their go-to stuff. So you just got to really mind your principles and do what we do on the defensive end, and then make them guard us on the other end of the floor.
Well, they've struggled a little bit defensively. They're one of the higher percentages in the league.
Yeah, a little bit. Again, I just think their numbers at home have been just so much greater that way, and they, they're a little non-traditional. Their starting 5-man is a big dude, but then they're back R.J. Williams, who's had a great season. He's their 4th leading scorer, and he's really an attack mode guy, but he's only 6'6", 6'7", so they're towards the bottom in the country in terms of blocking shots, right? Just because of their size, and we've had to play like that sometimes, when Fonz or Beaner's our 5-man, so we know how that can go sometimes. But it's been fun. In terms of this week, I felt like we've gotten better this week, and hopefully that'll show.
You've had some good. I know you've only been here a year, but there's been some really close contests with Boise State
over the years.
And Utah State's been able to have some success up there.
Well, I don't know the exact number, but I think the last 7 games maybe have been decided by 7 points or less. Or
all but one game in Mountain West.
One game in Mountain West play. So, it's kind of what you expect. There's some history there, and there's a bit of a rivalry there. And I know everybody's talked about Nevada and Boise a lot in our short time being here. So I think that's what you kind of expect, in those types of games, is you just kind of throw all the records out the window and see what happens. And last year was, we only played them one time last year, and it was at their place. And the overtime win, and we kind of pulled a rabbit out of our hat, although we kind of squandered away a lead late in that second half. But they can do that to you. They can really get it going, and it's an ESPN game, and I think a blue out, so they're going to have a great fan support and a great crowd that night, and they're coming off a couple back-to-back road losses, so they're going to be very, very hungry.